Hi folks, welcome to Greg's Workshop. I'm Greg and today we're going to be installing this utility sink. This is the old utility sink we're going to be replacing. You can see it's old, yellow, a little bit dingy, dirt in the bottom, but what's worse is those cracks. Those cracks actually leak. We can't use this as a sink and that drain is higher than the edges, which means we can't rinse all that dirt down. So we're going to pull it out, put in a new one.
Anytime you do plumbing work, the first step is always to turn off the water. After the water's turned off, you can disconnect the supply lines. Next comes the drain connections. This is the dishwasher hose. Then we loosen the nut at the bottom of the drain. Last, we remove the nuts holding the sink to the countertop.
Pulling the seat out.
That's right.
Wow, Daddy. That's even more my ears a person, Daddy.
We're going to be reusing the old faucet and sprayer on the new sink. This one works just fine, it has lots of reach, and we'll make good use of it. Let's talk about the new sink. This is a musty Model 10 drop-in utility sink. It's 22 inches deep, 25 inches wide. It doesn't come with any holes drilled, so we're going to have to drill those holes out to mount the faucet. While it doesn't have any holes pre-drilled, it does come with these molded in circles, common spacing for common faucets. We're going to use the outer two holes as well as the middle hole. Now we'll install the faucet. Installation is the reverse of removal. I made a mistake when I drilled this hole. I drilled it too close to this handle. I didn't take that spacing into account. We're going to figure out a way to plug that hole, but in the meantime, I've drilled a new one for the sprayer. So we have all the hoses connected. The next is the drain. This sink came with its own drain. If this were a normal drain, we would put some plumber's putty around here before we put it on from the inside to seal it. According to the instructions, we're just supposed to use this little foam rubber washer with this fiber washer and nut on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this through this hole, and then you're going to put this ring on, and then you're going to put this ring on, okay?
Yeah, and here.
Okay. Let's go ahead and put the black ring on. Can you reach? Yeah, just... Oh, it's going to be tight. There you go. Okay, flip that around. Flip that around. There you go. Okay, you hold it still. There we go. Oh, almost. To secure the sink to the countertop, they give these inserts. There's a coarse thread on this end and a fine thread for a nut on this end. We're going to use the coarse thread put into the sink here. As often happens with old houses, when you start tearing into a project, you usually find more than you bargained for. We found this leak. This pipe has been leaking at that elbow for quite some time. Ran over to the edge where the cabinet is, ran down, and caused some rot. That's going to be a project coming up here. Replacing this cabinet was a project for the future, but now it's a project for the closer future. So I've gone ahead and put together the valve with this push to connect fitting. I've cleaned off the pipe. I'm just going to push it on. We'll go test it out. So we've turned the water back on. No leaks. So anytime you're putting a sink or any other thing like this in, it's important to do a dry fit. So I don't have the sealant down yet. This isn't secured. I'm just making sure it fits. I'm going to make some marks here on the front so that I know where the front edge should go to keep it even with the front of the counter. Next comes the caulking. We're using this DAP Quick Seal Plus. It's good for kitchen, bath, and plumbing. I got it in this little squeeze tube just because I don't want to have a half tube of cartridge gun sealant laying around. So I just usually buy these. And what about this hole? Well, they make covers for that sort of thing. So I've got this little chrome cover. All I'm going to do, spin this nut off, put some silicone around it, and put it in place and tighten it up. All right, let's set it in. Very nice. So here's one of our studs to secure the sink down. We're going to take this spreader, put it in here, thread that nut on, then we'll tighten it up. Alright, so we have the sink in, we have everything hooked up except for the drain. You can see there's a P-trap here. It was in the right position for the last sink, but not for this one. So, how are we going to fix that? Well, we're going to reuse the P-trap, the elbow, and this 1.5 inch. We're also going to reuse that 2-inch up here. What we're going to do is cut out this reducing coupling in the middle, and we have a special coupling to get it all tied back together.
My father always taught me to use every project as an excuse to buy a new tool. So, on my third trip back to Home Depot for the day, I picked up this hacksaw.
It's important whenever you're doing plumbing work to do a dry fit mock-up to make sure that everything fits like it should. You can see we have our down tube, we have our P-trap, comes up to here, have an 1.5 inch pipe and a 2-inch pipe. There was a glued on reducing coupling there. I'm not going to glue one back on because I'm going to tear this out in a few months anyway, put in a new cabinet. I don't want to use up that pipe. Every time you glue and you have to redo it, you have to cut off that glue joint. Then the pipe just gets gradually shorter and shorter. So we're going to use this and put it right up there. Should work just fine.
Time to test out our installation. It's the hot water side. You'll see a little bit of brown come up. That's okay because we had it disconnected. Here on the cold side, you'll see some air spit out. Again, that's okay. It was disconnected. Next, we'll try the sprayer. And finally, we'll check for leaks. Looks great.
Well folks, I hope you enjoyed that video. We got a lot done today. We got the new sink put in, we got the plumbing reconnected, we found some more work that needs to be done. Stay tuned for that. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notified of new videos every Saturday morning. Leave a comment, I promise I'll respond. And thank you for coming along today at Greg's Workshop.